Hello and welcome to G Fun Facts Online. We often think of the ground beneath our feet as just, well, dirt. A static, lifeless foundation for the world we see. But what if I told you that just meters below where you're standing, there's a hidden, dynamic frontier? A world more vibrant and vital than we ever imagined, where plant roots, strange microbes, and ancient geology collide in a complex dance that could hold the key to our planet's future. Today, we're digging deep, far beyond the topsoil, into a realm scientists call the deep rhizosphere. It's a subterranean ecosystem that stores vast amounts of carbon, governs the very nutrients that feed us, and offers a powerful, natural ally in the fight against climate change. So grab your virtual shovels, because we're about to uncover the secrets of the world beneath our world. For decades, when scientists studied soil, they mostly focused on the top 30 centimeters, or about 1 foot. It makes sense. That's where most of the action seems to be. But this is like trying to understand an iceberg by only looking at the tip. In ecosystems all over the world, from forests to grasslands, plant roots plunge much deeper, sometimes tens of meters down into weathered bedrock. A recent study even revealed that many plants have a second, deeper root system, a hidden network over 3 feet underground, searching for extra nourishment. These aren't just passive anchors holding the plant in place. They are active agents, shaping their environment and creating this unique deep rhizosphere. This deep world is totally different from the surface. There's less oxygen, the soil is denser, and the easily available nutrients are scarce. Yet, life finds a way. The total mass of bacteria and fungi in these deep layers can be just as high as in the topsoil, playing a crucial role in everything from making new soil to regulating water. And who are the residents of this deep metropolis? A unique cast of microbial characters. While you might expect life to thin out as you go deeper, what scientists are finding are distinct, highly specialized communities. These aren't just stragglers from the surface. They are ecosystems dominated by poorly understood bacteria and archaea, perfectly adapted to a low-energy lifestyle. We're talking about groups with names like chloroflexi and nitrospirae, some of which can enter a state of dormancy or even use tiny amounts of atmospheric gas for energy. In a truly groundbreaking discovery, researchers found a completely new phylum of microbe called CSP1-3, thriving as deep as 70 feet underground in places as far apart as Iowa and China. And this wasn't some rare creature. In some spots, it made up over half of the entire microbial community. Genetic analysis suggests their ancestors were actually aquatic, and over millions of years they adapted to this deep, nutrient-poor environment, becoming expert scavengers that help purify water by consuming carbon and nitrogen that leaches down from above. These tiny life forms are central to creating stable organic carbon in the soil. In fact, a huge chunk of the carbon stored deep underground is made of dead microbial bodies, or necromass, turning this hidden world into a massive carbon graveyard. So why do plants send their roots so deep in the first place? Primarily to find water and nutrients that are scarce near the surface, especially during dry spells. And this underground foraging has massive effects on the way essential elements are cycled. For example, nitrogen, often the biggest limiting factor for plant growth, can be found in the deep weathered bedrock in concentrations comparable to fertile topsoil. Plants release carbon-rich compounds from their roots, called exudates, which basically act as a lunch delivery service for microbes. These microbes then get to work, transforming the nitrogen into a form the plants can absorb. Plants are also clever chemists. A deep root might release a specific low-carbon organic acid to unlock phosphorus that's chemically bound to minerals, a completely different strategy than its shallower roots use. We see this in action in agroforestry, where deep-rooted trees act like nutrient pumps. With the help of fungal partners, they suck up nutrients from deep in the soil and bring them to the surface when their leaves and shallow roots decompose, enriching the topsoil for everyone. This brings us to one of the most exciting parts of this story: climate change. The soil across the globe holds at least twice as much carbon as our entire atmosphere. We've known topsoil is important, but the deep soil is now being recognized as a massive and far more stable carbon sink. Up to half of a forest's soil carbon can be located below 20 centimeters, and this deep carbon is much older and more resilient. The primary delivery system for this carbon? Deep roots. They do it in three main ways. First, the roots themselves are made of carbon. When they die, that carbon gets locked away for a very long time because decomposition is much slower in the harsh, low-oxygen, deep soil. Second, live roots constantly leak those carbon-rich exudates, feeding the deep microbial communities. This process can account for up to half of a plant's total root production. And third, as we mentioned, is the microbial necromass. The microbes eat the plant's carbon exudates, and when they die, their carbon-rich bodies become a major part of stable soil organic matter. This deep carbon is our secret weapon. Unlike surface carbon, which can be released by fires, erosion, or farming, deep carbon is protected, locked away safely for centuries. Of course, studying an environment meters underground isn't easy. For a long time, the sheer difficulty of digging deep pits and collecting samples meant this world remained a scientific black box. But now, a wave of new technology is prying that box open. Techniques like X-ray microcomputed tomography are creating detailed 3D images of root systems without ever touching a shovel. Genetic science is also having a huge impact. Scientists have identified genes like EGT1 and DRO1, which control how roots grow. This opens the door to breeding crops like wheat and rice, with steeper, deeper roots, specifically designed to withstand drought and store more carbon. We also have new monitoring systems that can be installed deep into bedrock, giving us real-time data on moisture, chemistry, and CO2 levels. When we feed this data into AI and machine learning models, we can finally start to build accurate predictions of how these deep systems work. The new field of deep rhizosphere ecology is completely reshaping our understanding of how our planet functions. And the implications are staggering. For agriculture, breeding crops with deeper roots could create more resilient plants that need less water and fertilizer, all while enriching the soil and fighting climate change. For climate policy, harnessing the power of this deep carbon sink represents a vital, nature-based solution. By promoting the processes that lock carbon deep underground, we can supercharge the ability of our natural and agricultural lands to pull CO2 out of the atmosphere. The journey into the deep rhizosphere has really just begun. It's a journey that shows us that sometimes, the biggest discoveries and the most hopeful solutions for our future are waiting right beneath our feet. Thanks for joining us on Fun Facts Online. Keep looking and keep digging deeper.